Good evening, and welcome to the latest edition of Randall Reads. Tonight I'd like to talk about the short stories of Daphne du Maurier. Du Maurier is best known for her novel Rebecca, but she's also a wonderfully imaginative short story writer as well. In this particular collection, which is a beautifully illustrated folio edition, it includes Don't Look Now and The Birds, both of which were turned into very famous films directed by Nicholas Roeg and Alfred Hitchcock respectively. The story I'd like to talk about, and one of my favourite stories of all time, is called The Blue Lenses. The action opens on a hospital ward where the main character, Marda West, is recovering from quite complex eye surgery. The specialist is explaining to her that when the bandages are removed, her vision might be a little bit blurry and a little bit blue on account of these temporary lenses that she has in her eyes. But that turns out to be the least of her worries, as she sees every person that she comes into contact with has an animal's head on their shoulders rather than a normal sort of human face. At first, Marda thinks that this is a trick, and that all the nurses and doctors are wearing masks to try and make sure that her vision is indeed recovering properly. But that doesn't turn out to be the case at all. She finds this a little bit comical initially, as for instance, one of the ward nurses is a really kindly woman, and she's been turned into a cow. And the specialist who's explaining about the problems she may encounter with her vision is a lively little man who's a terrier. But things sort of change and get quite dark when her husband arrives on the ward, and he's got a vulture's head, and a nurse who's not particularly kindly or very nice to Marda has got a snake's head. Completely freaked out by this, Marda flees the hospital, and she walks amongst the streets of London. But it's even worse because she sees all these horrible creatures. Instead of human heads, they've got pigs' heads, hyena heads. There's more and more vultures. They all sort of have the attributes of the sort of the horrible animals from the animal kingdom. When she wakes up after this horrible experience in the streets of London, the doctor tells her that one of the lenses was pushing down on a nerve in her eye, and it caused these sort of hallucinations and delusions. But it's a really sort of surreal and very clever short story, which I've always really admired. So that is my recommendation for this week. It's the short stories of Daphne du Maurier, and if you can find one with the blue lenses in it, you'll be in for a treat. Thank you for listening. Good.